First up, 11 gauge cold rolled steel. I'm using 105 amps. I am full pedal for this. No pulse, just straight current. 332 electrode, 1/16 diameter ER70S6 filler wire. Only reason I used ER70S6 instead of 2, I just happen to have more of it in 1/16. Not much difference in the 2 unless you're penetrating fully all the way through on a butt joint, and then there seems to be a lot more difference. But I'm using just enough heat to wrap those corners. Get a decent size weld. I could also go down to a 045 filler. I could use as large as 332. Here I want to show you the very end on the way I taper off from an end sometimes. Leave that wire in there to keep from blowing it away, and then back up as I let off current. Taper it down into like a teardrop shape. This is the CK Worldwide welder here that I'm using. I've done about 20 videos so far using this thing. I'm increasing the amperage because you always need to do that when you turn the pulser on. You get sort of an average of the pulses. And so I'm at 2 pulses a second, and I'm going to set the background amps to around 30%, which is a good starting point. You can go way higher for different applications, but 30% is a good place to start. And I'm going to step up to a 332 filler wire so that I can just lay it in that trough, in that outside corner joint, and just go right over it, easy as pie. Now the pulse setting really comes in handy here. This is a little bit more difficult to keep that wire in the puddle and keep it from balling up and whatnot without pulse. You can still do it without pulse. Pulse just makes it dead easy. Here's another perspective of it coming from behind here. You can see the puddle is just wrapping those corners. So I could use a little less heat probably, but it's working out pretty well. And the Furic number 12 cup is doing some really good shielding there. Another thing that I have found that I really like to use pulse settings on is TIG brazing with silicon bronze. Using pulse with silicon bronze kind of keeps the heat down, keeps the oxide film under control, and it just really works really well. It's good for ornamental stuff like handles and hinges on industrial furniture and other ornamental things. It just provides a really cool look. Not nearly as strong as weld metal, so you need to put a really big fillet or a really big bead to have anywhere close to the strength. But if you're just looking for the look, it's very cool. And pulse really helps. That you use really does the trick. I mean, it's amazing how much better coverage and how much farther you can extend the electrode. There are just times when you got to extend the electrode to get down in a hole or in some kind of tight angle, and you also want to maintain your coverage while you're doing it. For 4130 chromoly, stainless, Inconel, and even some titanium jobs, this thing is just the stuff. This is a shot of a 17 style air-cooled torch. It uses the same hardware as an 18 or a 26. If you got one of those, you're going to need an adapter kit like this to make these Furic cups work. Good thing is, once you get that adapter kit, you'll be able to use all kinds of other Furic clear cups as well as all the ceramic cups that just thread right on. You just stick an O-ring on there for the clear cups. If you've got a 9 or a 20 style torch using a little tiny collet body like this, then you're going to need this little 332 gas lens here. And if you already have one, you don't need anything. You just screw it right on like that. You can also use the other Furic clear cups with an O-ring. This is a stainless cope tube little demo I did a while back on a video, and this is a perfect example of where a cup like this really helps with argon to the back side of those stainless jobs where you really need it. Now some jobs can be done without backup gas on them. Other jobs really need argon shielding gas. Here's an example of that. Right away you can see the arc is wandering. It's already pulling oxides in from the back side. It's because it's severely oxidizing on the back side. It's pulling that in the puddle, and the puddle's not flowing good. The backside looks horrendous, and it is. It's not good. Certain industries like pharmaceutical and food service, it's just not allowed. It's going to crack, it's going to fail, it's going to grow bacteria. Now let's show with only about 10, just a little over 10 CFH maybe on the backup box, on the crummy purge box. We'll weld a little bit, and you're going to see a tremendous difference. Already you can see it flowing better. It already even makes a difference on the front side. It's common to tape off the ends of pipe or argon hose, and that's fine, but there's times when you just can't do that, and you still need to get argon to the backside of a stainless part, and that's where a purge box like this comes in handy. TIG Finger XL are super handy. Sometimes you can walk the cup, sometimes you can't, But when you can't, it's nice to have your prop in your pocket. Stainless tubing, welding tests like 6G TIG tests, stainless pipe. You can see right here I'm propping right next to a stainless weld at fairly high amperage, taking my time, hanging in there for several minutes, propping there. Normally my fingers would just be scalded, but they're not even getting warm right here. For high chrome pipe that has to be preheated, for castings where you preheat and you can't find a place to prop, pipe welding of all types for welding on aluminum tanks and gliding your hand along without smoking your knuckles, try a TIG finger, you'll be glad you did. The TIG finger XL is bigger and thicker. You can usually get 2 fingers in that, so for those really high heat jobs, say. If you're not 100% sure on what number or style torch you have, hang around for just a minute. I think we'll clear it up. What you see pictured here is a standard 17 style torch. And this is how you know if you've got one of those. Your collet body will look like this, the standard one that came with it. That's the easiest way to tell. Nothing wrong with these. They're just kind of long, and we can do better for certain applications. So this adapter kit will come with the Teflon insulator, a wedge collet, and the gas lens. You can see there's a groove right there for an O-ring, because you can also use this for clear cups. But that's all there is to making a 17, 18, or 26 style torch work with this ceramic 12 cup. If you've got a 9 and 20 style torch, your collet body looks like this. Not quite an inch long, about 7/8 of an inch long. That's what comes with those torches. And there all you need is this setup here. In fact, all you need is that gas lens. The collet is the same. It's a 45V 44 332 gas lens. And all of the Furic clear cups will work with this as well, with a O-ring that slips over the base of that